The street event sees hundreds of anglers from around Europe converge on the streets of Hellevoetsluis. Their aim, to catch as many perch, pike and zander as they can. Anglers fish in couples and are paired up with another couple to keep score. England's top lure angler Andy Mitten is fishing with Polish angler Paweł Karkowski, and they were into a decent pike pretty quickly. Andy, good start for you and your teammate Paweł.
Yes, excellent, mate. Excellent. We're really pleased.
Tell me what's happened so far.
So we gave the team we're fishing with first choice, and we fished on one of the bigger canals. Now it wasn't working there. There was too much sunlight. Wind wasn't working in our favour, so we moved into one of the shallower backwaters. What we've been doing between us, Paweł's been working big jerk baits. I've been working an old-fashioned spoon, just so we've had a bit of contrast to approach, just so we're covering every method. And yeah, the change of location paid off. Paweł's just had a 80cm pike, which we're chuffed a bit with.
Will you stay with this tactic all the way through, or will you swap over now?
No, we're going to continue with what we're doing. We just think we're going to give ourselves the best chance of winning if we're covering two aspects rather than both focusing on one particular method.
When I was choosing the tackle for today, my tactic was really go big. My friend Nathan Angel said go big or go home, and it's something that I really adapt for myself, for my fishing tackle, and for my style of fishing. And it's, I suppose it seems like it's working really.
Hellevoetsluis has hosted the street event for 4 years now, and you can see why. Canals, a moat, the harbour and the lake all offer some brilliant fishing, but the hot weather conditions over the last few days would mean the sport would be challenging. So now we're on the moat, and it looks like there's a fairly big fish on here, but we're not convinced that it's actually a pike. It certainly isn't a perch or a zander. It looks more like a carp, and if it is a carp, it may well be foul hooked. So let's have a little look. He's going to take his time with this. A little bit of drama down here. It's fighting very, very much like a carp. Question is, how big is it? That's the thing with carp fishing as well. You pull back in 2 foot of line and it takes off 20 metres of line. If he's fishing for pike, then he should have the tackle to be able to land it. There it is. And it's a common carp. It's about 5 kilos. This is probably going to be one of the biggest fish caught in this competition, but sadly it will not count. He needs perch, he needs pike, or he needs zander. As with all the fish caught in the World Predator Classic, they all go back in again. It's a no-kill policy, and that carp swims off to fight again another day. The anglers fished around the harbour, moat, canal and lake for the rest of the day, but the falling light conditions meant it would soon be bite time. As the light started to fade, everybody knows that this is predator time, and the guys start gathering round one of the main lock basins where the herring fleet enters into one of the big canals that heads towards the centre of Holland. And the zander tend to come in on the one side of the lock gate with good perch on the other side too. And there's been a few zander caught through the course of the evening. But as it gets darker, this is when the big fish come into play, and that's when the big difference is made. Back at the kayak event, and Morocco's Salah Al Barbouchi was dominating again, although there were dramas. The stormy weather tipped him over at one stage, but he still managed to record 3 zander to win yet again on day 2. The final day was another one that suited him, and a perfect score meant that he dominated the event from start to finish to take the title of Kayak Champion 2017. And there it is, the final scores after 2 days of street fishing, and the victory goes to Fabian Graef of Germany, 135 points and 2 pike. Second up, it was actually a tie-break. Sander Bravenboer, the local man from the Netherlands, also on 135, but Graef caught them quicker. Third up, Dennis Horvath, another Dutchman, 127, 1 zander, 1 pike. But it was Graef who was crowned World Predator Classic Street Fishing Champion 2017. The big prize at the World Predator Classic is, of course, the boat event, and 4 teams were in contention. Daniel Ressel and Gregor Baboriels held a slim lead at the top on 6 points. They were being chased by day one winners Danielle Schaefer and Pierre Jonan, and Frenchmen Christophe Huberts and Philippe Nouvel on 7 points, plus Dennis Schoner and Johannes Dietl on 9.
We are very happy in the moment. Yesterday was not so good. We got 7 points on our account, but I think everything is open.
The wind is a problem?
Pour moi, le vent il fait vraiment beaucoup de vent aujourd'hui. C'est un petit problème.
I think the wind may be a problem today. Not really for the travelling, but for the fishing it will be difficult.
Danny Schäfer and Pierre.
They're good anglers. They know the waters.
Yeah, we are first time on this water. These guys are all week.
Out on the water now, and after that fast and crazy start, the boats disappeared. And to be honest, we're finding it quite tricky to find them at the moment. There's a lot of cloud around, there's low mist, and we can't see particularly far, so finding where the individual boats are is a bit of a challenge. But we do see off the live leaderboard that there's some fish caught. What we need to know is whether or not anybody of any importance has caught any. I see that Nicolas Boldo and Ludovic Pinchede from Belgium have caught a big pike. Now that's a 106 pike, that's the biggest pike I think that's been caught so far. Interestingly, Luke Coppens and Jeremy Staveman, they are second on the leaderboard at the moment. They've had 2 perch, and you would think in these conditions perch would be pretty tricky to find. They couldn't get them on that first day, and they blanked yesterday as well, which means that to all intents and purposes they're out of the game really. But second today. The big question is, are any of those top 4 on the leaderboard? The answer is yes. In 8th place, with just 1 perch, Dustin Schoner and Johannes Dietl, the German team in boat 6, they have caught a fish. The other 3, they've caught nothing at all. So what that means is that they will rocket to the top of the leaderboard today. There's still plenty of time to go, and the forecast is for it to drop down and get a little bit better later on. But one of the things that we saw yesterday, certainly with regards to Jonan and Schaefer, is that they preferred that very tight, very accurate pelagic style of fishing, and trying to do that in big choppy waves, that is immensely difficult. It worked for them yesterday. Question on my lips, will it work for them today? Back with Schaefer and Jonan now, down by the bridge that separates the Herring Fleet from Holland's Deep, and it's pretty bumpy down here. See Pierre at the back of the boat doing what he does best, pelagic fishing. Looks like Daniela is vertical jigging at the front. Doesn't have to put a lot of movement into that. The boat's bouncing up and down a fair amount, and we don't actually know whether or not they've caught anything at the moment. They've not reported any fish as yet. It may be a tactic they use to confuse everyone. It may be they've not caught anything. But either way, they're still in the race, and we'll find out later on if they have actually put any fish onto that score sheet. Boat 37 now, and this is Daniel Ressel and Gregor Babiots, and they have had a brilliant day 1 and day 2. They go into day 3 in the lead, a first and a third, and these guys just on 4 points have a massive advantage. But of course, to keep that advantage, they've got to catch fish today. Now, we had a chance of catching up with them to find out what their thought process was about tactics today, and they're not going to go crazy. They said they were going to try and fish for zander, and they thought that if they could get 3 zander on the board and then possibly try a pike later on, that would be enough to get them into the top 10. And here they are, the race leaders, boat number 6. It's very interesting seeing what they're doing here. More or less exactly the same. They're drifting about 500 metres down this shelf, and they're coming back to just in front of us. But they've come to a slightly different place. They're working a bit further out now, a little bit further out along that shelf, maybe just into the deeper water rather than down the top of the shelf. And we can see the drogue's just been dropped in. That will open itself up underwater and slow the movement of the boat down. Let's see if they've changed rigs. Soft bait now, dark soft bait. And this seems to be the plan. That's a 12 centimetre shad and a slightly lighter one on the other side. That is a very interesting tactic. They run adrift on a hard bait and a spinner bait. They come back up and again, and this time they're running it on a light and a dark soft bait. So guys, wow, very, very close on the results at the moment. What we think is the provisional result, and we think you have won by 1 point. So it's not confirmed yet. We think the French guys over there, they lost 2 fish. So unfortunately, they are finishing behind you in the leaderboard, and we think that you have won. but it's provisional for the moment, okay? So it has to be confirmed for later. So,
Crazy.
The 2017 World Predator Classic champions Dustin Schoen and Joost Eagles.
A surprise for us. When we came in the harbor, we thought, okay, we fished good, but we didn't think that we will make it. So we are really surprised and really happy, I think.
So we didn't catch that many fish today and that many fish the first day, but finally it was enough.